Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, everyone. So, as you know, uh, there are many dumb uh, ex-Muslims out there. The majority, you know, uh, will fall under that category, and there are very few that kind of make sense here and there. Uh, but the former category, the one that don't make sense, among them is definitely the uh, car salesperson, used car salesperson, as they normally put it, uh, Haris Sultan or Harris Sultan or Harry Potter, whichever one you want to call them. Uh, some of the points on morality that he makes in his book are so shallow, and they're so non-substantiative that even a child can kind of easily deconstruct them and throw them out the window. And I was stumbled upon the book, and actually I'm glad he made his book freely available, so that it's easy to you know it's easy to point out the very easily discoverable flaws, especially in some of those chapters. And one of that chapter is the chapter of morality. And it's not surprising that he did not think it through. The childish arguments in there are a proof that he. I'm not even sure if he wrote that, or at the time he was writing this book. I'm not really sure he did that, or if he kind of found his old primary school essay that his teacher asked to write on morality, on the subject of morality. So I'm not sure. Maybe he ran out of time. The publisher was giving him the deadline, and he was like, I need to complete that chapter on morality. And he tried to find his primary school essay, and he finally found it, and he just copy pasted it there. So that's how much lacking he is in the substance. So I was reading that, and at the same time I was reading the chapter on morality in Daniel Haqiqatju's book that came out, the modern menace to Islam, the modernist menace to Islam. I'm reading it right now, actually, almost done. Really good. Um, Everyone should have it. It gives a lot of insight, thought provoking, and how to kind of dismantle all these uh, arguments that don't make sense when they're subject to a little bit of scrutiny. So I read both of these, the morality from his book, Harris Sultan's book, and the morality from Daniel Haqiqatju's book. So let's take a look at the you know at some of the contradictory things that Mr. Sultan says and does, the Hawaii fire, as he likes to call it. So let me just share some of the things. Give me one moment. Okay. So he says here that there is no such thing as absolute morality. Morality is meant to be ever changing. We have come a long way from the Bronze and Dark Ages. It is not wild to imagine that the common morality of the people of the 23rd century will be very different from our own. So basically, I mean, it's the same old, the overused argument. Point he's trying to make is that, if, let's say, the act of theft, let's take that for an example. If that is bad today, that means it's not surprising, and it's natural that maybe some change takes place, and the act of theft in the 23rd century is considered good. And he's not ruling that out. That is, after all, evolution of morals. So that's what he says, which is weird from the get go. I don't even need to go into why that's wrong. It's just strange from the get go. And then later on, when we go down, he, a valid question that arises is that where do we get this the concept? Where do we get the concept of right and wrong? Is it ingrained in us? Uh, to that, he answers that the answer is very simple: that the idea of good, what is good and what is bad, comes from our own thought processes. And so here he says that the idea of what's good and what's bad comes from our own thought process. So he means to say that the common liberal principle of morality on which everything is based, which is the harm principle, is that we got to know over the years. We were still discovering, and through whatever science or I don't know, evolution, we got to know, we found out that harming others is bad and not harming others is good. So that's his reasoning. But we also have we also have Daniel Haqiqatjou on the other hand, and what he says entirely does make sense. And he says in his book, let's step back for a moment. First of all, if the harm principle is the keystone of all morality, as liberal secularists claim, then would they concede that it could also evolve? Yeah, see? Haqiqatjou, brother Daniel Haqiqatjou is putting forward the point that if, let's say that the morals are evolving, and we found out that the harm principle is the basis of it all. We don't harm others, that's good. Harming others, that's bad. So this statement in itself is an absolute. It does not evolve. That means the morals are not evolving. Now that you have found out that the harm principle applies, past, present, future, is it, it's weird. Is it like did you see the harm in in under a microscope? Did you test it in the lab? That this is also what brother Daniel Haqiqatjou is mentioning in his book. So that means if the morals are evolving, and let me also show you what he says in over here. Give me one moment. Okay, so yeah, I got it. So this. Let me show you this. What he's saying here. Give me one moment. All right, guys, take a listen.
We can okay, so this is, I kept saying that to you before as well. If you look at the history, our moral curvature has been, if you put at the top, on one end you put compassion, and on the other hand barbarity, then we would have a look that throughout the ages, throughout civilization, our curve has been going more towards compassion and less suffering. So when you look at it,
so yeah. So guys, you heard what he had to say about that. Same thing, that the graph is going up. He's like, it's taking off
from barbarity to morality, from barbarity to not harming others. So in in that video as well, he's making a claim that there has been a curvature when it comes to our morality. If there is a curvature, that means our morality is evolving. Then who is to say in the future that the harm principle will also evolve, and harming others will not be seen as a bad thing? So that could happen. You're not ruling it out. And if the harm principle is absolute, if we are the epitome of all morals, that means harm principle is absolute, and in that case the morals are not evolving. Then you are wrong by your own definition, that the morals are not evolving because the harm principle is absolute. So this is the weird points that Haris Sultan is making. So yeah, it's very easy to dissect these, and the way these people, especially Haris Sultan, comes off on social media, and the way he speaks, it's as if the world is missing out on his morality 101 courses, and if they don't purchase a ticket and go to Melbourne to directly study with him, then you're a loser. That's how they come off as, that's how they present themselves. But it's weird. This had to be said, so I will try to do more of this. First, we uncovered this point. So for now, I'll have to gather more stuff so I can see how else, in what other ways these people don't make sense. I'm sure there's a lot to uncover, but that's it for now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.